Welcome, Truth Seeker. Great to have you with us. On behalf of the Great Awakening Report, this is your Truth Seeker weekly briefing subscribers Q&A for the week of August 15th.
That's right. Each week, we take your questions, the really pressing ones from our community.
And we deep dive into those top news stories that, really matter. The ones that make you think differently, maybe challenge the mainstream narratives.
Yeah, pushing the boundaries of critical thinking, discernment, and, higher consciousness.
Exactly. This space is really for you, for seeking truth, clarity, and a deeper understanding as we trying to connect the dots together.
Whether it's geopolitics, disclosure stuff, personal awakening, or even spiritual practices.
Our mission is to bring knowledge, perspective, and hopefully some solutions to help navigate these, pretty transformative times.
Definitely transformative.
Okay, let's jump right in. Let's unpack this week's top 5 questions sent in by you. First one up, this is interesting. How could the Trump-Putin-Alaska summit impact more than just the Russia-Ukraine war? It's a great question because it forces us to look beyond the headlines.
It really does. And what's fascinating, based on some, let's say, diplomatic insights we've seen, is that while the official line was ceasefire talks, security guarantees for Ukraine.
Right, the standards.
The standard stuff. But the strategic implications seem much, much broader. Staging it in Alaska, crucially outside the ICC's jurisdiction.
Okay, why is that part so important?
Well, the ICC investigates major international crimes. Meeting outside its reach, and very importantly, without Ukraine directly involved, signals a pretty bold willingness by Trump to engage directly with Putin on global security, on their own terms.
Sidestepping the usual channels.
You could say that. And our sources suggest this direct talk isn't just about ending one war. It could be a strategic play to forge new energy agreements, maybe reshape NATO's influence.
Oh, okay.
And even open up channels for new kinds of alliances, these multipolar alliances that, fundamentally challenge the existing US-EU global order.
So connecting the dots, it's less about fixing Ukraine specifically and more about repositioning America on the global stage.
That's what it looks like, repositioning America on the great power chessboard, as they say.
So let's bring this down to earth. Why does this matter to you, the listener?
Well, shifts in these huge global alliances, they have real-world effects. Think energy prices.
Yeah, that always hits home.
Exactly. Trade stability, too. And even the likelihood of future conflicts or flashpoints, the deals discussed there, even behind closed doors, could genuinely influence your cost of living.
Access to resources.
Access to resources, yeah, and national security setups for decades, potentially. It's foundational stuff.
Truly foundational. Okay, let's shift gears to something closer to home. Question 2. Is Trump's D.C. police takeover a test case for federal intervention in other cities? This one has definitely stirred things up.
Yeah, and based on the reports we've analyzed, the signs strongly point towards.
Yes.
Yeah.
What makes you say that?
Well, look at the actions. The rapid deployment of the National Guard, appointing a federal emergency police commissioner, basically overriding the local D.C. mayor and council, and suspending sanctuary city protections.
Right, those were quite decisive steps.
Very decisive. And according to official directives we've seen, these actions signal a readiness to bypass local government if national security is invoked.
And the administration has been talking about specific threats, right?
They have. They've mentioned concerns about, quote, insurgent cells among illegal immigrants. So putting that together, this D.C. move could very well be a blueprint.
A blueprint for using federal power in other major cities.
Potentially, yes. Especially if there's escalating unrest or if they perceive a growing risk of civil conflict. It represents a pretty significant shift in that federal-local power balance.
Okay, so why this matters to you? If you live in or near a major U.S. city, this is obviously critical.
Absolutely. Policies like this could change how your local police operate. It could impact personal freedoms, your sense of security day to day.
And it might signal maybe growing tensions that could ripple outwards.
That's the underlying concern, yes. That it could spread nationwide, it's definitely something to keep a close eye on.
Definitely. Okay, let's pivot to the global economy now. Question 3. What's at stake if the U.S.-China tariff truce collapses? We remember the last trade war. Are the stakes higher now?
It feels like they could be. A collapse of this truce, analysts are predicting, would almost certainly spark a new trade war.
Which means
Which means rising costs for American consumers, major headaches for businesses, and of course, escalating geopolitical tension between the US and China.
But is there more to it than just tariffs?
Oh, absolutely. What's really interesting, and some internal strategy docs hint at this, is that the truce itself, or the threat of its collapse, is being used as a kind of bargaining chip.
A strategic tool.
Exactly. Look at the timing. It lines up pretty closely with the Trump-Putin summit we just talked about. That suggests trade policy isn't happening in a vacuum. It's being woven into a much bigger diplomatic strategy.
Aimed at what? Realigning global economic power.
That seems to be the goal. And the stakes go way beyond just import-export numbers. We're talking currency stability, global energy flows, and fundamentally America's ability to handle economic pressure from rivals. It's strategic economic positioning.
Got it. And why this matters to you? Well, a trade war hits the wallet, doesn't it?
Immediately, you could see prices jump for everyday goods, supply chains get snarled up again,
Like we saw before, yeah.
and potentially even job losses in industries caught in the crossfire. This isn't just some abstract chess game. It directly impacts your household budget, the stability of the economy you live in. It's very real.
Very real indeed.
Okay.
Our fourth question digs into something that sounds technical but might have huge implications. Why is the IRS shakeup important beyond tax policy? What's going on there?
This is a really crucial one because, yeah, it sounds bureaucratic, but the changes at the IRS seem to go far beyond just adjusting tax rules.
How so?
We're seeing reports of a major restructuring, a significant purge of existing leadership and staff, combined with a big push towards AI-driven automation.
So, replacing people with algorithms.
To a large extent, yes. And this isn't just about efficiency, despite what some official narratives might say. It points to a fundamental change in how taxes are collected and enforced. The structure itself is changing.
And there's talk about something called an external revenue service.
Yes, there's speculation, especially in fintech circles, about this emerging by maybe 2026. The idea hints at potential integration with global financial systems.
Which connects to?
Potentially connects to centralized digital currencies, CBDCs.
Okay, explain CBDCs quickly for listeners who might not know.
Sure. CBDCs are basically digital versions of a country's fiat currency issued and backed by the central bank. Different from crypto like Bitcoin because they're centralized.
Got it. So this IRS shift could mean less human oversight.
Less human oversight, more automated enforcement, potentially less privacy for individuals. It ties directly into those bigger concerns about CBDCs and global financial governance.
And why this matters to you? This is pretty direct, isn't it?
Extremely. These IRS changes could fundamentally alter how your income is tracked, taxed, audited, maybe with less room for disputing errors than you have now.
Wow.
It feels like a step towards digital financial control, a system where down the line your spending could be linked to compliance, maybe even social credit type system.
Like we see hints of in other countries.
Exactly, where behavior impacts access. It's a much bigger deal than just how you file your taxes.
Definitely sounds like it. Okay, our final question this week really ties it all together. How do these stories connect to the bigger control versus sovereignty struggle? This is where we zoom out and see the pattern, right?
Precisely. When you step back, each story we've discussed, the Trump-Putin summit, the D.C. police situation, the U.S.-China tariffs, the IRS changes, isn't isolated. They're all pieces of a much larger puzzle.
So the summit is global diplomacy reshaping alliances.
Right. The D.C. takeover hints at domestic security centralization.
Tariffs are economic leverage.
Mm-hmm. And the IRS restructure points to technological control over finance and governance. Even things like needing more cultural and spiritual awareness, which comes up in discussions like when truth divides, fits in resisting manipulation.
So taken together, what picture emerges?
Taken together, they really illustrate this critical moment we're in, a transitional phase where the choice seems to be between submitting to increasingly centralized, tech-driven control, or actively reclaiming sovereignty, both national and individual, through awareness, through being prepared, and through potentially coordinated action. It's not just theory, it's playing out right now.
And why this matters to you, truth seeker. Recognizing these patterns is power, isn't it?
It's incredibly empowering. It lets you make proactive choices.
Like what? What can people actually do?
Well, things like diversifying income, strengthening local community connections, being much more careful about protecting your data, or even just mentally and physically preparing for potential disruptions, social or economic.
Awareness is the first step.
Awareness is absolutely your first line of defense in these times.
So, as we bring these 5 points together, this narrative really crystallizes, doesn't it? Each headline, different topic, but part of this bigger framework, this global and domestic reordering of power. It's like watching scaffolding go up.
That's a great analogy. On the world stage, you see these high-level negotiations, like Trump-Putin, that aren't just reactive. Analysts suggest they're strategically designed to redefine the global order for years, maybe shifting power away from old structures.
Okay. And domestically.
Domestically, the D.C. police move isn't just local. It's like an early demo of how federal authority might override local control, maybe setting a precedent, as government papers sometimes indicate, for future interventions using security as the reason.
And economically, the tariffs.
The tariffs, or the threat of them ending, show how trade and currency are being used as weapons, really, positioning nations for dominance in this massive realignment. It's about controlling supply chains, influencing markets, securing national advantage.
And finally, the financial piece with the IRS.
Right. That points towards AI-managed enforcement, possibly linking into global systems. That could mean unprecedented control over individual finances, way beyond what we've seen.
So, stepping back one more time.
Yeah.
It's not random.
Not at all random. It really looks like the framework, the scaffolding for a new global operating system where foreign policy, law enforcement, trade, finance, all these pillars are being recalibrated.
For what purpose, ultimately?
The pattern suggests maximum central control and perhaps efficiency from a certain perspective.
But here's the crucial part, truth seeker, and this is important. As these moves become clearer, public awareness is growing, wouldn't you say?
Definitely. You can feel it.
And the Great Awakening, as we often talk about it, is really about seeing these patterns early, understanding what they imply, and then consciously choosing how to respond before everything's locked in place.
Absolutely. For anyone paying attention, connecting these dots isn't just, an interesting thought experiment anymore. It's becoming a vital roadmap.
Roadmap for what?
For navigating what's coming, for understanding where the points of resistance might be, and ultimately for helping shape the future towards more freedom, transparency, and genuine resilience.
Yeah.
It really makes you ask, knowing this, what's my next step?
That's a powerful question. And as we wrap up this week's deep dive, let's take a moment to reflect on what all this means for your personal journey, moving beyond the noise, finding that higher frequency living.
Yeah, because amidst all this global change, the practical tools for navigating your own reality with clarity, with sovereignty, with, grace, they become essential, not just nice-to-haves. It's about how you stay centered.
Remember that quote we discussed? You're either on the stage acting in the movie or in the audience watching it consciously.
That's such a good one.
So ask yourself right now, am I being pulled around by fear? Or am I grounded in peace? Am I getting swept up in the chaos? Or am I anchored in my own presence? Am I just reacting automatically? Or am I responding with full awareness, seeing the bigger picture?
And maybe check in with that personal code of mindset we talk about, kindness and respect, accountability and responsibility.
Yeah.
Ask yourself, am I the observer of my thoughts, or are my thoughts running me? Is my internal frequency, my vibe, steady and calm? Can I actually feel that clear, quiet guidance from my higher self?
Because the path out of that automatic reaction mode into higher consciousness, it's not just a one-time thing, is it?
Not at all. It's a daily practice. It's a moment-by-moment commitment.
To awareness, to sovereignty, to aligning with your own inner truth. Until next time, truth seekers.
Stay away.
Stay empowered.
And above all,
Keep connecting the dots.